What's going on, Jets fans? It's your boy DT back with a game recap. Another Jets loss, embarrassing fashion in this one. Have to immediately start with the 3 turnovers in this game. Braylon Allen's fumble at the goal line obviously was the one that they could never overcome, unfortunately. And the team seems to be repeating that trend of not being able to get off the mat whenever bad things happen. First, it was Braylon Allen. Then it was a strip sack on Justin Fields when you're already down 10-0. And then the Isaiah Williams fumble coming out of half on a ball that, quite frankly, should have just been untouched and went out of bounds. So starting there with the 3 turnovers, then you have 13 penalties for 101 yards on the Jets, just accepted penalties. There were others that were declined as well. So heavily undisciplined football again from this team. Coaching points don't even matter anymore. You can coach all you want about penalties. This team is still going to make them. Clearly, it doesn't matter. I'm not even going to get into the officiating because it was obviously poor down the stretch, but the Jets did a good enough job of playing themselves out of the football game before that really even mattered. But some very questionable calls and no calls in the second half by this crew. The ESPN analytics had the Jets at a 51% chance to win the game towards the end of that first drive where they were just continuing to pound the rock on the Miami Dolphins. And then that fumble drastically decreased their chances to 38%, and then they never went higher in that game. So another game of largely uncompetitive football for the most part. I mean, it felt like until the Justin Fields touchdown, the offense couldn't really do anything. Just kind of lucking into plays after that first drive, which showed a lot of new wrinkles. 6 offensive linemen, pony personnel. Obviously, Braylon gets hurt on kick return duty, but just an uninspiring performance by this Jets team, and they fall to 0-4. I haven't even listened to the Glenn presser yet or any of the players' presser. Garrett Wilson, great game, obviously great catch. He's like yelling at the sideline to feed him the ball, which is just embarrassing. You should know to get number 5 the ball, obviously, unless he's double teamed. But there was numerous one-on-one situations where Fields was not even looking to his side. So Garrett needs to get more involved because as soon as they threw it to him, he caught the most ridiculous touchdown. They called the push off, and then he caught an even more ridiculous touchdown. So get Garrett Wilson involved, please, and thank you. The Jets had more first downs than the Dolphins. They had more total plays, more total yards, more yards per play, more passing yards, more rushing yards. They beat them across the board. They were just 0-2 in the red zone, and they created all those turnovers. So the name of the game is you got to hold on to the ball. Possession is 9/10 of the law. And the first team that was going to crack and make the turnover was probably going to win this game. That's what we were saying all week. These were the 2 teams that never created a turnover. Yet this season, the Miami Dolphins create 3. The New York Jets create 0. So that's just indicative of the season that we're having right now. The Jets are currently the get-right game for any team looking to get into the win column. Just absolutely ridiculous how this team shows week in and week out that they're going to make the same mistakes, the same crucial penalties. Obviously, there were some that I don't agree with, like the offensive pass interference on Garrett. It's just inexcusable stuff, that the pre-snap penalties that we're doing, jumping off sides in the middle of a cadence if you're J2 Fele. So just little things like that. Sauce, I believe, had a penalty. Yeah, he had a pass interference call. So just unacceptable across the board from the defense. It's scary hours every time they go out on the field. You don't know what to expect, and you always expect the worst. And somehow they make it the real is that they are bad. And there's not one person other than Quinnen Williams that plays consistently on this defense. And anytime you think it can be bad, they just kind of show that it can be worse. Quinnen is my literal only highlight from this defense. I mean, you let Darren Waller, a former rapper, score 2 touchdowns on you. Absolutely unacceptable. Tony Adams trying to tackle Devon Achane on that toss for the touchdown. That was just inexcusable. Kiko with the slide on Tua. I believe that was just, Tua sliding very late, but also what are you doing going anywhere near that guy's head? You know exactly what they will call every single time. So Unexcusable loss. It felt like at portions of this game they didn't trust Justin Fields to throw. He still ends up with 226 yards and a touchdown. Scrambles one in, 81 yards on the ground, which was a miraculous fourth down run on a busted play. Garrett ends with eight targets, 82 yards on 6 catches and a touchdown. Mason Taylor had 7 targets for 65 yards. Brees 6 targets for 30 yards, and he was banged up early on in the game. And then they obviously lost Braylon Allen, so Isaiah Davis came in for quite a bit of that. Not much else to say about this team. We'll hear what Aaron Glenn says at the post-game press conference and where this team goes from here, but there's no reason to feel like this is going to stop anytime soon. This is just a rough hours for these Jets right now. I have no answers. It looked like Aaron Glenn was visibly mad at Tanner Engstrand during portions of this game, mainly due to the pre-snap penalties when they were doing the 6 offensive lineman stuff, and they got an illegal shift. They got an illegal motion on Garrett. That's the one thing I'll say about Garrett was his motion was really lazy, and it cost them a penalty because he couldn't get set. And when you're down, 10-0 early on, this team gets stuck in 11 personnel and nothing happens because Josh Reynolds doesn't get targeted. I don't believe Arian Smith had a single target in the entire game. Arian Smith did not have a single target in the entire game. So what is this guy doing out there running cardio? You have to get him involved. I know the Dolphins defense did not shut him down to the degree where you couldn't get him involved. I don't know. It felt like Fields even at points couldn't even, grip the ball well enough to throw a spiral. It was coming off real wobbly. And the fact that they were even able to adjust and make the catch to some of them was pretty miraculous. He did have a couple nice throws, but unfortunately it doesn't matter. You're 0-4. What else is there to really say? This is we don't want to do the draft talk, but this team also says that they want to give us something that they're proud of. So we're conflicted right now, right? We want to talk about the draft and who the future is at this quarterbacking position or at other positions of need, which there are plenty. Wide receiver 2, defensive interior, edge, linebacker, safety. This defense needs a ton of work. And they have a long road ahead. Dallas up next. And unfortunately, nobody's going to be picking them to win. Dallas is probably going to be full of, or MetLife is probably going to be full of Dallas Cowboys fans next Sunday. The only positive is we're back in the 1 o'clock slate. We don't have to stay up until 10:30 at night to talk about this team, which felt like at 10-0, 17-3, they pretty much had laid down and died and got a little lucky at the end in garbage time with the 1 score, and obviously the onside kick was never going to be recovered. Very fitting that Darren Waller covers it up too. So just a really bummer performance by this Jets team. Not much else to say. Not going to harp on it. We'll get into the film room during the week and see what happened, but a lot of wholesale changes need to be made personnel-wise, scheme-wise, tendency-wise, and we'll see what happens. I'm back tomorrow night with Buffalo Jet Fan on my channel around 8 or 8:30 tomorrow, so stay tuned. We will be live. Like this on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 2K. We hit 1,000, so I certainly appreciate all that support, and we'll talk to you soon.